Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video! I'm back from the dead to post a video. I got this idea and I just wanted to run with it. I have no idea.
All you do is you just pull back your foreskin, you just rub your mushroom.
Make really any progress, but only one way to find out. Day 1. I started my adventure in the hub. I talked to some villagers and punched some wheat. I sold said wheat and headed over to the lumber merchant for some wood. I'll be using this wood for wooden tools to craft the base tier of a few minions. After that, I went to Jamie to get my rogue sword. This is one of the most helpful items when starting out. Then I went to the farm merchant and bought a rookie hoe. This gives an extra chance for seeds to drop from every crop you harvest. With my coins from selling wheat, I went to the mine merchant and bought 2 gold. I used this gold to craft a golden shovel. Finally, ending in the library, I needed XP to enchant my shovel. I need to get efficiency 2 in order to instantly mine sand in the desert settlement.
Hands and clenching his fists.
I don't have enough coins to buy all the experience I need, so I went back to the wheat fields and harvested. 1,400 coins later, I had enough to buy all the XP I needed for efficiency 2. With that out of the way, I ran to the barn. There are a few things I need from these islands. I needed all of the farming and husbandry minions, as well as mining 12. Shortly into this grind, I realized I forgot to get an axe for the melon and pumpkin, so I headed back to the hub and got myself one. From the barn, I needed chicken, pig, cow, potato, carrot, melon, and pumpkin minions. From the desert settlement, I needed sheep, rabbit, cactus, cocoa bean, sugarcane, mushroom, and sand. The only one I skipped out on was the rabbit minion because of how long it would have taken me. I was 5-shotting rabbits when I got there, and I would have needed to kill 64. Once I finished up the husbandry minions in the barn, I went to my island to place them. These are some of the most important minions you could have early on because of how unreasonable they are to grind manually. Next, I crafted the melon minion, followed by the pumpkin minion. Now we have potato, then carrot. This finishes up everything we had to do on the barn. I hit the launch pad to go to the desert settlement and start collecting. I started by grinding sand. The reason sand is so important early game is because of how much mining XP it gives you. It's the easiest way by far to get mining 12 to unlock the dwarven mines. You could also get a lot of it quickly, and the minion is very cheap. And this brings us to the end of day 1. Day 2! Day 2 started the same way day 1 ended, mining sand. After about 10 minutes of mining sand, I was finally mining 12. I noticed I was only 2 enchanted sand off the tier 7 sand minion, so I decided to stick around for another 15 seconds to upgrade it. After finishing the sand, I moved on to cactus. All I needed was the cactus minion, and after about a minute of farming, I had enough. Next was cocoa bean, which took me a matter of seconds. I decided to test my damage out on a rabbit, and it was subpar to say the least. Grinding the rabbit minion would have been a waste of time at this rate. After grabbing the cocoa bean minion, it was time for sheep. This took around 5 minutes to get the stack of mutton for the minion. I used the stack of wool that I got from grinding this to give to the carpenter to unlock carpentry. Once I had the sheep minion, I put it on my island alongside my other husbandry minions. The last minion I wanted to get before progressing in mining was the mushroom minion. So I went back over to the desert settlement and collected enough mushroom to craft it. Day 3. I started day 3 by banking the coins I had in my purse. I was up to 58,000 just from skill levels. With some of the coins, I went to the mine merchant and bought the promising pickaxe. Then I made my way to the deep caverns. I talked to the lift operator to make sure he tracked my progress as I went down. I made my way down the deep caverns until I got to the bottom. Once I got to the bottom, I grabbed 3 diamonds for the diamond pickaxe I was planning on making. Unfortunately, to enchant this pickaxe, I needed an enchanting table with high bookshelf power. The one in the hub just didn't cut it. I didn't realize I would need to craft my own enchanting table until I left the deep caverns, so I had to go back. I needed 2 diamonds and 4 obsidian for my enchanting table. After dying once and losing half of my life savings, I got everything I needed for the enchantment table. I bought the materials for 15 bookshelves, then spent the rest of my coins on XP bottles. I needed fortune 3, efficiency 5, experiencing 3, and smelting touch on this pickaxe. I went to my island and set up my enchanting table. After splashing a few stacks of bottles, I had enough XP to enchant fortune 3. Then I gave my pickaxe smelting touch, then efficiency 5, then experience Then I gave my pickaxe smelting touch, then efficiency 5, then experience 3. I ran out of bottles while splashing for experience 3, so I had to head back to the library and to finish the pickaxe. Then I had to... Day 4! Wait, I should do something. Day 4! Day 4! I started day 4 in the deep caverns. I started gathering the 10 enchanted lapis lazuli I needed to unlock the dwarven mines. I also decided that Sam Solik's diet is unacceptable. I also decided to start mining the 10 enchanted coal I would need, as well as gold and iron for the base tier. Then I killed my first mob. Then I decided to craft the base tier lapis minion. After this was the coal. After about 10 minutes, I had the 10 lapis I needed, and next was coal. This took us all the way to day 5. Day 5! 5. Day 5 started where day 4 ended. Mining coal. A trick you could do with the coal is to mine 10,000 to unlock the enchanted coal recipe, then buy the remaining coal you need from the NPC. Now that we're done with our 10 enchanted coal, it's time to move on to redstone. The enchanted redstone recipe unlocks around the same time you have enough to craft 10, meaning once we unlock enchanted redstone, we will unlock the dwarven mines. This one redstone pigman was clearly fiending for my veiny With redstone done, I finally had everything I needed to enter the dwarven mines. I forgot to grab the redstone minion before I crafted the 10 enchanted, so I also did that. While I was here, I decided to also grab the emerald minion, as well as the diamond minion. After that, I went to Reese and realized I wasted at least one full day on gathering pointless materials. Apparently, while I was on hiatus, they changed the dwarven mines requirements. Next, I headed over to Fetcher to get my 20k and some mithril powder. He wanted a door for some, didn't even take it from me, so he wanted to look at it. After this, I went to the king to see what commission I had to do. Participate in a mining event and mine 50 mithril. 50 mithril took about 3 minutes, and once I was done, I crafted the mithril minion. I decided before I get too far into this playthrough, I wanted to start leveling my taming, so I visited the spider's den to get the grandma wolf pet. This is where day 5 ended.
For the females that be wearing these panties right here, y'all be looking so damn good, pussy be sitting so fat and juicy.
Day 6. I started day 6 by grabbing the fractured mithril pickaxe so I could mine titanium. The next commission I had to do was mine 2 titanium. I ran around for a bit until I found 2 titanium sitting in the walls. My next commission was to mine 150 mithril. This commission took about 6 minutes to get done. After claiming this, I reached Heart of the Mountain 2. This gave me 2 tokens to upgrade my mining tree. I unlocked Mining Fortune and Titanium Insanium. After this, I decided to start working on Combat 12. The best way to grind out Combat 12 at this point in the game is killing glaciate walkers. I ended up dropping glaciate boots very early on, and this let me not get one shot by the glaciate walkers if I got hit. Dying and having to run all the way back to where they spawn is a huge waste of time. Day 6 ended with me putting growth 5 on my new boots. Day 7. Day 7 started with me collecting the minions I had placed previously. Their storage fills up insanely fast because they're only level 1. I also upgraded my cobblestone minion to tier 2 while I was here. Next, I went to the hub to get bottles to enchant my boots with protection 5. And then I got an idea. The healing wand from Zombie Slayer is very cheap to craft. And because my base health is so low, 50 HP per second is very good. With this, I can heal to full in 4 seconds. Once I got this idea, I started a tier 1 zombie slayer. It took 25 zombies from the graveyard to spawn, and once it spawned, I hit it with my pickaxe about 10 times and killed it. It was a surprisingly close fight for only being a tier 1 rev. I claimed the boss at Maddox and unlocked the healing wand. I underestimated how expensive the wand was though. I thought it would only take 1 to 2 bosses to craft, but at this rate it would take 12. Nobody's got time for 12 tier 1 revs, so I decided to try a tier 2. I started the tier 2 quest, and I saw I'd have to kill over 200 zombies just to spawn the boss. So I went to kill some crypt ghouls to spawn it faster, but this seemed impossible. I also knew I wouldn't be able to kill the boss itself on my own. I could either scrap this idea and continue killing glaciates, or I could outsource it. I decided to go with the latter. 200-ish zombies later, the boss spawned, and I valiantly defeated this monster on my own. Sure, you could say this is stupid, but the healing wand didn't end up even helping me that much, so whatever. And this is the only thing I had help with the entire 100 days, and I'm sure if you're in a guild, you could find someone to one-tap a tier 2 rev. Come on. Anyway, that's where day 7 ended. What they talking about? They talking about what they talking about? They talking about, huh? They talking about that's my day 8. I was 1 revenant flesh away from the wand of healing, so I did another tier 1. I killed the boss, claimed my quests, and crafted the wand. With the rotten flesh I got from slayers, I crafted a zombie minion and upgraded it to tier 2. Then I went back to grinding glaciates. I had a very hard time finding a lobby without someone grinding glaciates, so I decided to share with someone. It didn't help that they were twice as fast as me though. I also managed to drop glaciate leggings at around combat 9. And after about 10 minutes, I had combat 12. I started day 9 by putting prop 5 on my new leggings. I bought an end sword for the 5 endermen I needed to kill and enchanted it with sharpness 5. Then I traveled to the end. First, I talked to the lone adventurer to start his questline. Killing 5 endermen is surprisingly difficult at this point in the game. Once the endermen were down, I talked to the lone adventurer again and headed to the hub. I needed 200k to buy the rogue sword, and farming wheat would be the best way to I needed 200k to buy the rogue sword, and farming wheat for me I needed 200k to buy the rogue sword, and farming wheat would be the best way for me to. I needed 200k to buy the rogue sword, and farming wheat would be the best way for me to get that money. While I was farming wheat, I decided to get the wheat minion, and after farming for about 8 minutes, I had the coins I needed. I got the rogue sword, and I started killing endermen for gear and mining end nodes for the XP bottles. I got some grand XP bottles from one of my first end nodes, so I went back to the hub to put sharpness on my void sword. Then I enchanted fire aspect, and finally looting 3. And this got me to enchanting 10, which means I could start doing experiments. I crafted and placed the experimentation table and did my 3 experiments. On my first experiment, I somehow got a guardian pet, which would be very good once I got a dreadlord sword. And because Diaz was mayor, the cap on XP bottles from the librarian was 10 times what it normally is, which let me fully enchant my void sword. On day 10, I started my void sword. I still needed to reforge the sword, so I went to the blacksmith and mined 10 coal.
I really don't think... I don't think so.
I think you're a bit dense.
You think I'm dense?
Yeah.
You're looking pretty dense yourself, I'm sorry to say. But,
Don't fucking fat shame my friend.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck.
Fucking fatty, get the fuck off.
One of my mods was making it so I couldn't reforge the void sword, which is pretty helpful, and thank you for that. I messed with this for about 5 minutes before giving up and restarting my game. Once I was back, I got sharp first try, and then reforged my glycite armor. With my newfound strength, I went back to the end for some ender armor. The first piece I dropped were leggings, which I immediately went to the hub to reforge and enchant. I was now 3-shotting enderman, which is much better than 30-shotting earlier. The next piece I dropped was the necklace, and somehow the next 2 pieces were both dupes. Then finally at the end of day 10, I dropped boots. On day 11, I needed to reforge and enchant my new boots, and that's what I started with. Back in the end, I crafted the enderman minion and dropped 3 more dupe necklaces, followed by another pair of leggings. I then hit combat 13 and crafted the tier 4 enderman minion. Then I finally dropped the helmet. G5, P5, fear, and we're back. Now when I crit, I one-shot enderman, which is going to speed this process up a lot. I spent most of day 12 killing enderman for the chestplate, and towards the end of the day, I finally dropped it. I went to the hub to reforge it, and then my island to enchant it. At the end of day 12, I was full G5 P5 Fierce Enderman armor with a fully enchanted void sword. Things were definitely looking up. The last things I needed from the end were the rest of the ender equipment, which you get from the obsidian defenders and the watchers.
On day 13, I once again collected the minions I had on my... Now that I really packed a punch, I went back to the desert settlement to finally craft the rabbit minion. I grinded end nodes all day and then went back to my island to craft another chicken minion for the enchanted egg recipe and a zombie for the combat sack. I
started day 14 by hitting combat 14, and I decided I might as well grind out an aspect of the end while doing end nodes. I was killing a few birds with 1 stone. I was getting combat XP, obsidian for Tricapitator, grand XP bottles, coins for might gel, and endstone shulkers for the adept power. Days 14 through 17, I spent grinding ender pearls for aspect of the end. And on day 18, I stopped this grind to grab the last 2 pieces of ender equipment. I got the ender belt from obsidian defenders and the ender cloak from watchers. After getting the full ender set, I was feeling pretty confident and I decided to try some dungeons. The dungeon was going pretty good at first. This guy, Joshua is your mom, was cracked as hell. I went tank for the seismic wave ability and wanted to get a dreadlord sword. And while I was killing endermen for the AOTE, I got a spare set of ender armor for mage. I dropped a skeleton grunt helmet and thought about wearing it, but decided the end armor would be better because of the boost in strength it gives to my void sword. I tried out a yellow room lost adventurer and it didn't go like super good or anything. I had to give up. Our boy Joshua is your mom hella came in clutch and slapped his big throbbing cock down the throat to the shaft of the lost adventurer, and we bum rushed the blood room and conquered our first dungeon. Then me and my boys ran it back. It was 2 free, and then we ran it back, and then we ran it back, and my armor was getting to be super fucking good at this point. I was getting ready for F7, and then my internet took a shit. Yeah! At the start of day 20, I realized I wasn't recording, which is perfect because in that short time, I finally dropped the dreadlord sword. Very smart of my bitch ass. I had a very dramatic fight with the blood room mobs because of how bad my gear still was. We cleared this dungeon, then I headed to Ophelia to buy dark goggles. This gave a good amount of intelligence and ability damage. For mage, the purchasable dungeon helmets are basically always going to be the best option. I put wise on everything, and then I started fixing up my new dreadlord sword. Heroic on the dreadlord sword, and then I went to Maxwell to select a talisman power. It didn't give me any stats because I hadn't gone for any talismans yet. Okay. But it was worth doing. For early game mage with dreadlord sword, inspired is the best starter power. I obviously wanted sighted, but grinding ender monocles proved to take forever. On day 21, I decided to finally finish the talk to the villagers quest. This was clearly information I didn't know and desperately needed to know. I would have been fucked. I headed to the end to start grinding ender monocles, and I eventually gave up. While I was there, somebody spawned a wise dragon, so I stuck around and got 3 frags. During the actual dragon fight, I shot some crystals and ended up with enough crystals to craft crystal boots, which gave a good amount of intelligence. Then I went to the museum to stash some items I have acquired and get a bit of XP out of it. I need you to voice this next paragraph.
On day 22, I decided to start my journey in the Rift. I hadn't played the start of the Rift since it came out, so I was definitely not sure the most efficient way to go about things. I started by killing a few shy for remotes and cruxes. Okay, what are these troll ass words? I got the Enigma cloak from Enigma and started working. I got the wild sword from one of the tree people. Grabbed this Enigma soul, then crafted the crux talisman. Next, I punched this doofus around till he led me to another Enigma soul. Next, I followed the flower pots down to the next Enigma soul, and then I ran out of Rift time. My next entry, I went to the tree with wolves and collected 20 bark. The lobby ended up resetting, which gave me a free entry. Next, I talked to the inverted Sirius and tried to remember what I had to do. I quickly gave up and went to Sad Jaquette and got the Montezuma pet. I got the wild helmet, killed a few more shies, and my Rift entry ended.
On day 23, I started my final Rift entry. I grinded shies until I had enough motes to buy the wild chest plate. Next, I started collecting some Odinadas. This one Odinada ended up taking the rest of my Rift entry. Then I went to my island to collect my minions once again. Some super compactors might be nice. Then I remembered that you could reforge equipment at the blacksmith, so I did that. I finished up by working on commissions for daily Hodom XP. On day 24, I did a tasty mithril event and got the Dwarven oats or oats O's. I finished my 4 daily comms and gave the king my daily comm.
On day 25, I started floor 1. The floor went smooth and the boss fight was easy. We did floor 1 all of day 25 and 26. By the end of these days, we had completed 4 runs. I finished another floor 1 on day 27. And then after this run, I lost my goated ass party. It was back to the entrance floor and party finder. I kept running the entrance floor and floor 1 on day 27 and 28. And on day 29, I started the grind for dragon armor. I found this fire-ass guy, Kupri to help me out. After about a little over an hour of grinding, at the end of day 32, I crafted my dragon set. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was going to get the job done.
Yep. Yeah, actually though. On day 31, I went into a floor 1 to test out my new armor. I was shitting on everything. I hella blood camped this run. I completed another floor 1 before trying my first floor 2. This floor was actually going pretty good. I was able to kill an angry archaeologist and clear rooms. I had a good party, so the boss fight went very well. Everyone in the party was feeling pretty confident, so we ended up trying a floor 3 with only 4 people. I wasn't able to clear this floor very well, and I died very quickly, and the floor didn't go very good for anyone else. We got a 5th person in the party, and on day 34, we made it into the boss fight. I had to carry my team pretty hard here. We cleared this dungeon and got hecka XP. I decided to say fuck it and carry these guys in a floor 4. I know I should be focusing on higher floors, but sometimes I like to dip down and help the lower levels out a bit. We got through the clear, and it was on to the boss fight. I ended up playing the essential role of run around and do nothing and then die. After I put in the work, Thorn was dead and we completed our first floor 4. I got a spirit pet, but I didn't have any money, so I didn't buy it. On day 35, we started another floor 4. I don't really know why I was doing dungeons at this point. I wasn't going for anything and I didn't really get anything out of it, but it was fun. I once again soloed Thorn and we had another floor 4 under our belts. We only got an A. I'm pretty sure we had about 14 deaths. On day 36, we ran it back and we got an S, mostly because of me and my ender armor. We decided we had enough of floor 4 and we went back to floor 3. Finally, my teammates could help me out a bit. Make sure to comment how long you think I'm gonna keep making these jokes. Make sure to comment how long it is. Let me know in the comments how long it is. Let me know how long it is in the comments. Floor 3 dead. Day 37 started with a W in the books, and then another, and then another. Day 38 started with a W in the books, and then I was finally done with dungeons. I started working on some more commissions, and I couldn't forget about the chocolate factory. I continued working on commissions on day 39. I did commissions all day, and at the end of the day, I hit skyblock level 22. On day 40, I decided to continue grinding for the aspect of the end. I got about halfway in previous days, and now it was time to finish it. I crafted all the enchanted Eyes of Ender, and on day 41, I grabbed the enchanted diamond from the Dwarven Mines and had everything I needed to craft it. I was met with some pretty unfortunate news when I found out you get the resources way before the recipe unlocks, so I could not craft it yet. I started day 42 by putting 12 tickets into a 756 ticket raffle with a 1.6% chance of winning, and I fucked that shit up. I finished my daily commissions and once again continued grinding for the aspect of the end. Same thing on day 43, nothing really happened. Same thing on day 44, nothing really happened. But halfway through day 45, the spooky festival started. I had no idea this was going on for a second, but it ended up being a huge opportunity. I spent days 45 through 48 grinding the spooky festival. During the day, I killed spiders in the spider's den, and during the night, I went to Hub 1 and loot shared spooky mobs with blast-o-lanterns. This is the best early game candy method I've found, and by the end of the hour I had full spooky armor with candy to spare. I grabbed a few talisman upgrades and spent the rest of my extra green candy on bat fireworks and my purple candy on horseman candles to get bat person armor. Very productive few days. On day 49 I soloed the horsemans that I spawned and crafted some bat person armor. You'd be surprised how hard these are to kill early game, and plus they do a fat amount of damage. Once my candles were all dealt with, I headed to the spider's den to upgrade my spider and cave spider minions. And here we are. Big 50. I started day 50 by entering the rift. I grinded shies until I had enough motes to buy the wild leggings. Then I continued my Odonata bottle grind. These are pretty irritating to get because of how inconsistent the hitboxes are for them. Sometimes I'll be directly on it and it's not bottling, and other times I'll be in a different state and it works just fine. After 2 entries, I got my 8 Odonata bottles and I was rewarded the Silk Rider safety belt. I used my last free entry at the start of day 51, and unfortunately I thought I had to feed the Odonata guy an additional 5 bottles. But it turns out this was completely optional and only gave me a few thousand motes. So in other terms, I completely wasted my last entry. I once again worked on commissions until the end of day 51. Day 52 started where day 51 ended. Daily comms. Halfway through the day, I finished my dailies. And I decided to start grinding a personal compactor. I had no idea how long it would take me to mine the redstone, but I'll be damned if I start the garden before getting one of those. Days 53 through 55 were all spent mining redstone, so the redstone only took a little over an hour. And day 56 and 57 were spent mining the cobblestone. I had plenty of cobblestone to craft the super compactor, but once again I didn't have the recipe. After mining cobble on the bridge for about 40 minutes, I had everything I needed to craft the personal compactor. This item ended up taking about 2 hours to get, which in my opinion isn't bad at all. And finally, on day 58, I started the garden. I completed Sam's quest and unlocked free will. Once I had a plot cleared, I headed to the hub to grab some seeds. At the end of day 58, I pasted the wheat plot. On day 59, I competed in a wheat contest and I got a bronze. I was waiting for my new wheat plot to grow, and I was waiting on the composter for the second plot. I was kind of stuck here, so I decided to start grinding farmer's armor in the hub. Day 60 started with me finally unlocking that plot. This was going to be for carrots. I'm not sure what's the best way to go about things, but I decided for now it would be best to get one of every crop plot. After cleaning up my second plot, my first plot was finally ready to be harvested. This got me a gnarly amount of wheat milestones, farming levels, and garden levels. After farming this whole plot, I had 3/4 farmer armor, and I just needed a bit more wheat for the leggings. I headed back to the hub to grab some carrots for my carrot farm. I started pasting the carrot farm on day 61. Because of the garden levels I got from initially farming my wheat plot, my growth rate was greatly increased, meaning the wheat was once again ready to be farmed. I also started getting pests, and I haven't played early game with pests ever on Skyblock, so I quickly found out that they are actually very, very good for enchanted crops and farming fortune boosts. Not to mention the free milestones I got on crops I hadn't even unlocked yet. This gave me a lot of free garden XP and let me unlock crops even faster. Very good. On day 62, I tried to lock in to visitor requests, but they were consistently demanding things I didn't have. I needed 25 copper for the advanced gardening hoe, because this was the only realistic way of getting replenished early game. Once I finished farming my wheat plot and headed to. I once again finished farming and headed to the composter. I once again finished farming my wheat plot and headed to the composter to keep it pumping. With this, I unlocked my third plot. I decided to keep going in the order that I unlocked things. I cleaned up the plot and headed to the barn for the potatoes. I pasted the potato plot on day 63. Once this was done, I farmed the wheat plot once again. I decided to turn my 8 pests in for a nice boost in farming fortune. I should have looked at the pest shop to see if they had changed anything, however, because later I noticed I had to buy things in pests and not pests turned in. I ended up wasting a lot of pests on farming fortune. I farmed about half my plot and then checked on some visitors. By now my carrot farm had completely grown, so it was time to farm. I got into a carrot contest by the end of day 63, and on day 64 I secured a bronze. I started farming my potato plot after. I farmed the entire plot and then repasted it. Finally on day 65 I got the advanced gardening hoe. This was going to make my life at least twice as easy. I fixed my plots to make them easier to farm now that I didn't have to constantly be pasting new ones. Halfway through day 66 I was finally done fixing my plots. My speed was definitely off, but rancher's boots were a whole different conversation. I decided to give the garden a break on day 67 and work on some more daily comms. I was getting very close to Hot 4 and unlocking the crystal hollows. I continued my commission grind on day 68 and hit commission milestone 2. Once I had my dailies done, I headed back to the garden. Nothing really notable happened on the funny day, just a lot of farming. Nothing really notable happened on the next day, just a lot of farming. By the end of it, I had 205 copper. I was definitely making some solid progress. On day 71, I did another set of daily comms, and I finally hit Hot 4. This was absolutely huge. Before I started the crystal hollows, I decided to upgrade my minion setup a bit. I spent days 72 through 74 grinding up 3 super compactors for redstone minions. I wanted redstone minions for the collection and for the personal compactor upgrades. On day 75, I grabbed full glaciite armor, and I bought the titanium pickaxe. Believe it or not, before going into the crystal hollows on day 76, I farmed some more. On day 77, I unlocked and cleared my 4th plot, and I pasted pumpkin. At the start of day 78, I unlocked my 5th plot and pasted melon. Some more farming happened on days 79 and 80, and that's about it. However, on day 81, I finally finished the grind for farmer boots. Then I carried on with farming melon for melon armor. I got bored of this, so I went to the dwarven mines to do my daily comms. On day 82, I finally traveled to the crystal hollows for the first time. I quickly did the 1000 ruby commission, and I decided to grab the mining sack while I was here. And then I got this genius idea. I should grind for yog armor. Days 83 through 100 were spent all mining hardstone for yog armor. This took hours to finish, and I definitely got some interesting things on the way. Still, to this day, I don't know how this happened, but it did. I dropped a freaking legendary Skatha. Not rare, not epic. Legendary. The odds of this are actually insane. It was my 2nd Skatha on the profile. I had basically no magic find. How does this even happen? My mic wasn't on at the time, but I was pretty happy about it. Finally, on day 100, I crafted my yog armor. And this is where my time ended. 100 days sounds like a lot, but if you think about it, 100 days is only 33 hours. You don't even unlock the ability to check your playtime until you triple what I've done in this video. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm already working on the next video in this little series I have planned, so make sure to stay tuned for that. This video took me almost 2 months to finish, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like and see if you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube has this weird glitch where they unsubscribe. Make sure to comment your credit card information and those wacky 3 digits on the back. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking with me and watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.